Salutations, hello, hi, and welcome to Basic Public Speaking. I'm Christy Thomas. I'm your professor instructor for this course, and this is the weekly chat for week 2. Week 2's dates are January the 19th through the 23rd. This is a reminder that there is no classes on Monday, January the 19th in observance to Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you have any courses in person or whatnot, but there is the campus is closed that day as well. So let's go ahead and move forward. We've had our introductory week. We've checked out Blackboard. We've been looking how everything's set up and navigational purposes, just really getting into the flow. So we're going to dive a little deeper. You did your check-in questionnaire. I'll have that updated with Blackboard on grades this week. But again, I'm not stressing. You're not stressing. But let's jump into week 2. Week 1, I asked you to look over the comm theory and canons and rhetoric modules. Now we're going to start diving more into the building blocks of public speaking. So we're going to go over the first lessons of the building block lessons of this course, which are speech genres and informative speaking. In these modules, you're going to find PowerPoint presentations, Word documents, video chats delivered by myself, just discussing key points and terminology and ideologies and examples of all of these as well, and also publisher PDFs. There may be a few supplemental videos added from various theorists and communication coaches on from YouTube as well. So just kind of keep that in mind when you see these things. They're not required, but they are just, little educational aids, if you would. So with that being said, speech genres, when you're looking at speech genres, it just like music and movies and books and television, it lets you know what exactly you're getting into. Music, you know your genre, you have a preferred genre, and when someone's classified when an artist is in a specific genre, you know kind of what the vibe is. The same with films, horror, romantic comedies, comedy, drama, science fiction, all those are genres. You have preferred ones, or if you're going to a movie, you kind of know what you're getting into just based off of the genre itself. Public speaking is the same way. So it breaks down the genres, and for the purpose of this course, we go over 3. There's informative, celebratory, and persuasive. Now, some scholars will go above 3, but for the purpose of this course, I discuss 3, and some will only do 2, informative and persuasive. I like to throw celebratory in there because it's an extension of what Aristotle teaches us, and we discuss more about Aristotle in next week's lesson, so you'll understand my reference there a little bit better. But there's definitive and then there's gray areas, and when I say that is that there's some speeches can walk the line between 2 genres. So you can have some that walk the line of informative celebratory, or some that walk the line of informative persuasive. It's how you wrap it all up, kinda will give you the definitive genre itself. So I go into depth with that more as we discuss the various genres. So this is just setting up, the background information of what a speech is that makes it informative, what a speech is that makes it celebratory, and what a speech is that makes it persuasive. And we dive deeper into these genres as we discuss them. So we're discussing speech genres and informative speech this week. So with that being said, just kind of roll into the informative speaking. This is your main one. I don't want to say main one. This is a heavy one. Yeah, this sounds a little bit better. Again, if you recall, a lot of people, when they think public speaking, they think of the very formal in a large room setting, auditorium, presentation style. But it's more than just that. It's also your informal, it's your one-on-one communication, small group communication, workplace communication, all that falls in the public speaking genre as well. Formal, informal, anything here and in between kind of fall into that genre. So that being said, informative speaking is just that. You are informing. think of, in your educational journey thus far, giving book reports. That's information. You're giving us information about the book. You're not telling us a yay or nay. That's a review. See that fine line I'm talking about? If you give a review onto why someone should read this or watch this or do this, you've now crossed from informative into persuasive. But if you're just giving us the information with no bias, no trying to sway your audience one way or the other, you're being informative. So reports, or just discussing an artist or a moment in time, or book reports on, or a report perhaps in a history class you gave a report on a president or a battle or a moment, an era in history. All those fall, you're giving information. When you're telling someone where to go, you're giving information. Think of directions. All that, is informative. You only really cross that gray line or that fine line between informative and persuasive, and we go into detail again down the road and within the modules themselves. These are just snippet weekly videos. This is me just telling you what to look at and what to really, what we're taking away this week. So this is going to give you an in-depth look of informative speeches, what falls under, how it's set up, the evolution of informative speaking, the formality, informality that falls in informative speaking. So keep in mind that this building block of public speaking with informative speaking. Again, this week we're discussing genres and informative speaking. Genres kind of gives us a snippet of all of them, and then we're going to get into more depth in the informative speaking. So there's going to be, it's 2 modules that fall into this week's world. Really check those out. Really, look into the terminology, look into the ideology behind them, and understand that giving information is informative, but the moment you cross that line and you try to sway your audience to do something or not to do something or to follow along with you, then you've crossed the line into persuasive. And we talk about that even more down the road of lessons, if you would. So those are the lessons for this week. Remember, check them out. We have speech genres. Really, we discussed 3 in this course. Informative, you're giving information. Celebratory, this is where a community comes together to celebrate a moment. And it could be, think of graduations, and eulogies and tribute speeches also fall under this because you are coming together as a community. Acceptance speeches, toast, roast, all those fall under celebratory. And then persuasive. Persuasive speaking is where you're getting your audience to change a belief, an attitude, a value, or if you want to strip it away to the bare bones, you're wanting to sway your audience to your topic purpose, or to start or stop an action. Perhaps you want a new rule to be introduced at school, or you think certain laws in your town should be changed, or the benefit of adding a stop sign somewhere, or shorten the school week, or why this certain actor played the best Batman, or why this is the best pizza joint. See, you have your super formal and then your informal. That kind of rolls us into informative speaking. This is where we start digging deeper and diving deeper into the informative speaking genre. And this is where you're giving information, and it comes in all forms. Book reports, reports really fall under this a whole lot because you're giving the information, and you're not trying to sway someone why they should read or to watch. And I'm sure in your educational journey from elementary school to where you are now, you have done a report. It could be out loud or it could be a written report, but that's informative. That gives you a better idea of what we're talking about with informative. And it has evolved from, the ideas of Aristotle. We still use a lot. We really follow a lot of what he laid down in groundwork. Think of him as the grandfather of public speaking as we know it today. We just have more modernized terminology. So those are the genres. That's what we're looking at in the module lessons for this week. It's speech genres and informative speaking. This week, you have the Cannon's Rhetoric Round 1 questionnaire. I stated this before and I'll say it again. please don't fret over these questions. I have provided a module that gives you the background information, but really you're just kind of tell me what you think it is. Because you'll do this exact same questionnaire at the end of the semester, only that time, this time, next time, you will take what you have learned from this course and apply it to the questions, exact same questions. And this is really a gauge for me to see what's working, what's not working, what maybe I need to put a little bit more behind or let off a little bit. Maybe I'm a little too informative or I don't know. Am I overcomplicating it or am I oversimplifying? Like, it's just a way for me to figure out where it comes to the lessons. So there are no right or wrong answers. Take that away from this for the questionnaire. There are no right or wrong answers. So just be aware. And that's due by Friday, January the 23rd by 5 o'clock. Due at the end of week 3 will be your first main speech. This is an introduction speech, and the only thing due with this is a video of yourself delivering the speech. So there's no outline is due, no transcript. I will never ask for a transcript. And you may ask yourself, well, what is a transcript? I'm glad you asked. It is a written, basically report verbatim of what you say. I will never ask for that. I don't want to know every single thing you say to me. But this particular speech, this very first speech, is just a video of yourself delivered. There's not even a time limit on it. Would I love to hear you talk for like a minute and a half to 2? That would be great. But there's no deductions. I'm not stressing. You're not stressing. We're just putting it out there. But there are 5 areas. I don't want to say 5 areas. There's 5 topic points you need to hit in the speech. I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again because, again, I like to put information out there repetitively so that accessibility makes things easier on everyone. So you're not having to constantly search. And again, the details for the speech are in the main speech 1 introduction module. A Word document, a video chat of me, and then the link to upload your speech too. So, the 5 speaking points. Introduce yourself. Awesome. Tell me your name. And if you have a name that you prefer to go by that's not on my roster, add that as well. But I need what's on my roster. You know, maybe your name is Ashley and you prefer to go by Sapphire. I don't know. But I need to know, you need to put your roster name so I can know for, grading purposes. So, introduce yourself. Pretty straightforward. Okay, great, grand, wonderful. Number 2, future endeavors. This could be what your field is in, what you're choosing to go to school for. Are you going to school for teaching? Are you going to school for coding? Are you going to school for business? I don't know. And is this your last stop on your educational journey? Do you have plans to move forward to another institution? If so, tell me that. Or if money or time and nothing, there was no barriers, nothing standing in your way. Do you have a dream career or a dream school? I had different ideas growing up, what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And I had so many paths that I thought I was going to take. That's what I'm talking about. Or you can discuss a dream job or a dream, maybe you just want to chill on the beach all day. Maybe your dream lifestyle is to go backpacking through Europe. I don't know. Or perhaps you just want to grow a garden like Miss Honey from Matilda. Or you want to be, you can just pick one area or you can do it all. You can tell me, well, this is what I'm going to school for. But if there was no barriers, this is what I would go for. Like when I was little, if you asked me, I was like, I was going to do theater, but I was also going to be an archaeologist because I was going to discover Atlantis. So you see where I'm going with this? Like, and now if I had all the money in the world, I would just take me and my kids and just go travel all over the places. Just experience life anywhere and everywhere, dream world. So those are your first 2 ones. Introduce yourself, future endeavors. The third one, discuss something commonly known. This is something that pretty much everyone knows about you. It could be everyone, like, it's commonly known. It could be perhaps you were in an activity all growing up through your life and you're still involved with it. This could be, a hobby or an extracurricular activity, or you could be on a career trajectory along with this as well. Or everybody knows, oh, they're going to be a teacher, they're going to be a doc, things like that. Or it could be they're really good at art, they're really good at fishing, they're really great at basketball, something commonly known. Then your fourth area is something not commonly known. Now, I do not need to know deep, dark secrets, so you don't have to share. Please don't share anything that makes you uncomfortable to share. When I say something maybe not as commonly known, perhaps you're really into reading and not everybody knows that unless they're like in your inner circle. Or perhaps you know how to repair computers. And again, maybe that's not common knowledge, but you got a few close to you that understand. Or perhaps you're really into like tie-dyeing or thrifting or rebuilding cars. And these are things that aren't as commonly known unless someone is close to you. And I don't mean like close, but like, within your group of buddies. It's, so think about that. I don't want you to, again, please don't share anything you're not comfortable sharing with. I will never ask you to share something you're uncomfortable sharing. And then finally, after all of those, what brings you joy? What brings you happiness? What makes you smile amongst the chaos? So again, introduce yourself, future endeavors. You realistically, dream world, fantasy, whatever the case. Or maybe you want to talk about what you wanted to be when you were 5 years old. I don't know. Perhaps you wanted to be in film, or you wanted to be a famous dancer or an NBA player. I don't know, but I'd love to. Third, tell me something commonly known, like pretty well known amongst the masses about yourself. Four, something not as commonly known unless they're within your close group or really get to know you, or know you outside of an acquaintance. And then finally, what brings you joy? What brings you happiness? What makes you smile? What's the calm amongst your chaos? And that's it. Again, with this, all you have to do is submit a video going over these and upload it. And that's due by the end of week 3. So I've talked about it. I'll probably talk about it again next week on the video just to remind you it's coming up. So week 2, we are looking at your lessons are speech genres. Remember, these are the building blocks. We're looking at 3. Informative, celebratory, persuasive. And then we're also going to start diving deeper with informative speaking. This is really going deep into that genre, discussing ways, how informative speaking works, the different areas of informative speaking, how you can create the speech and deliver it, that all fall within that parameters. And just how to set it up. And again, there's formal and informal, and that's with every speech. You have formal and informal. And I just really want you to, if you take nothing else away from this course, is that public speaking is not all serious. It is not all super formal or not all super political, because even though when I talk about persuasive speeches, I will talk about the political world, not like talk about it, but if you want great examples of persuasive speeches, politics, on why we should and should not, or do not, all that is excellent examples. And that's about the gist of it when I say politics that I get into. But speech genres and informative speaking, these are your building blocks. And informative, we're diving deeper into that genre. That is one of the 3 genres I cover in this course. You have your Cannon's Rhetoric Questionnaire Round 1 is due by Friday, January the 23rd by 5 o'clock. We're not stressing. We're just answering what we think, and there are no right or wrong answers here. So feel free to go forth. We're gearing up for our first main speech, which is due by the end of week 3. So give me 1 second. I can tell you that date right offhand. January 30th. So due at the end of the month. Well, the month is on the 31st, but the last Friday of the month will be your first main speech, an informative speech. You have 5 areas to hit. Details are found in that module. I hope that you have an amazing day and a fabulous week. If you have any questions or concerns or anything like that, please reach out to me and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you so much. Bye.